Hi, Anti Society. Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we are checking out some more Tower of God Webtoon, and there are so many things going on. We got 3 conflicts that are going on right now. We've got Endorsi is fighting one of the princesses because they threatened to kill Bam because it's Tuesday. We have Hatz up against one of the other princesses who says they're not very good at sword fighting, but we're going to see how that turns out. And then we have Bam and Khun on the rescue mission for Rock, who have outsmarted Elfine with an old switcheroo with the fox that was up against them. And I feel like all of that doesn't make any sense to somebody who isn't like almost 300 chapters into the story, but to us, I feel like it makes perfect sense. So I'm just gonna jump in at this point because I'm like, there's so much going on and I just need somebody to save my sweet boy Rock at this point. All right, let's get some information out of this person who still seems like they might want to fight a little bit. Yes. Mostly they're asking nicely. Oh, did we? Yeah, I was like, did we freeze her? That's a little bit of a threatening pose to freeze her in. I like how polite he is. He's just, I didn't expect you to agree right away, but we're on a time crunch. So true. They did try to make us like empathize with the whole like backstory about Kaiser. And I'm like, yeah, but like, I get that being like toyed with and going through a heartbreak is like tough or whatever. I don't think the logical next step is slavery. Like, I think that there were probably a bunch of different options in response to that particular thing. And like, I get that there's also like, we're trapped in this particular place. It's basically like a prison. But again, I feel like there were some other directions we could have gone in. Oof. The way he's, I will just bring everything to the ground. Ooh, we stole the name? Wow. I keep forgetting that that's like a mechanic. I'm like, oh, he's just like intimidating, walking behind people. But I'm like, no, that's part of the mechanic of how we take names. Interesting too that he's, whether that's right or wrong, there's been so much debate with him of what is the right thing to do? What am I supposed to be doing? I don't want to be a god. And he's, at the end of the day, I just want to save my friends. And he locked in when it became a hostage situation, right? He was like, oh, cool. I know what I need to be doing right now. I feel way less directionless now that it's about needing to save one of my friends. Dang, that threat of it's gonna be your fault for not cooperating. He's scary, isn't he? Hello? Oh, there's a mother involved. And also like feeling like the blame so carelessly. Shifting the blame though. I like, okay, I understand because like it is, they are like putting the blame on her for falling for the trap. But if the trap hadn't been set, it wouldn't have happened. And I get that it was like a test of should she be a princess of Jihad, but there are so many things that people did in this that is like not a singular person's fault. And I guess it goes into what I was saying with like Bam and everything of him being like, this is going to be your fault. But there's so many domino pieces to how the tower works that like this person is behaving this way because this was done to them by this person and that person did it because that person experienced this. There's such a like chain of events to get to why the tower functions the way that it does. And it's all to like control who's in power and to like separate people, right? Like I feel like so much of how the tower works is about how do we keep people separated and fighting amongst themselves so that they're not actually fighting like the key points of power, right? Because if they had stayed united as a family, they would have been a lot more powerful, but instead this is putting a rift between them. Oh yeah, we have all the money being used. It is a convenient narrative tool for you to have flashbacks. Were we getting some of the eye details? Yep, you've lost your right-hand person. And I guess they could just order her then, right? If she's like controlled by them at that point. I like how she should have helped us anyway. Oh, cool. There's an escalator. That's crazy that it's like, hey, I need you to, the first thing I'm going to order is for you to survive because I can't have you like taking a way out of not having to be a servant. That's a wild thing. I was like, we do need to be specific. Like her sending a message to like Kaiser to tell what happened is also, they probably didn't order her to not do that. Agreed. I'm also not sure if he is nice or scary. I like, if you manage to get past nearly impossible obstacles, that does seem to be the usual way that these stories go. Yeah, I feel like y'all should be worried about the fact that it's like, it's been fairly easy once we got the directions. That's usually when things go very wrong. I love the difference of like pride, empathy, food. Tag yourself. Where are you? I'm always trying to see through other people's perspective. I do think it's interesting though that in front of Elfine, Bam was like, if I have to choose between destroying this place and saving Kaiser, I'm going to choose to destroy this place instead. But then as soon as he's out of like earshot of her and he's just conversing with Khun, he's still trying to work through the problem of, can I save everyone though? Can I help everyone instead of just like destroying things? Hello? Is that our boy? When was the last time you were, I guess we had the meeting with like Khun a little bit ago, but like when was the last time Bamba got to see you? Like, how they're like, how did you get here? We had to hold one of the highest, like the strongest people in this whole place for ransom, basically. Oh yeah, we are technically up against each other, aren't we? I forgot that we were fighting. Again, I was saying before, so much of how the tower works is like separating people, so they're too busy like not cooperating to be a united front that'd be so much stronger. Case in point, if y'all had just worked together and figured it out, and I can understand where everyone's coming from with that, but if they could have just worked together, this would have been a lot easier and faster. Can we talk about the branding? The no copyright infringement here. I don't know what you're talking about. It has nothing to do with any other franchises. Please don't sue us. Yeah, why are you holding a bomb? Again, no copyright infringement. I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like for so long though, I was like, Wangnan is basically just a Pokemon trainer. And then the comic was like, who also thinks that? Shibisu. I knew that was my boy. I like how he's just like joking around, having fun. He's like, yeah, I also can't let you pass. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, Shibisu's a scary one, honestly. Oh, he said he's disappointed. Are we throwing the bomb? My dear sir. He's just like casually, look at this panel. That is the face of a man that's just whatever. That's why Shibisu is so terrifying. It's like he has all of the kind of strategic thinking that Kun does, but like he's so good at having this facade, this persona of this Joker bumbling character, only for him to then be like one of the scariest ones. Like the few times we've seen him angry, I'm like, wow, you terrify me more than like anyone. And I love that this is just stop the bomb. And it's, huh? Why? How? I like how Shibisu's also just, I'm gonna throw this at you and I'm gonna trust that you guys can figure it out. Oh, we didn't throw it at them? We just threw it like behind? I'm assuming to destroy the stairs. I like that I can't figure it out, so you have to have a plan. This is like a Hail Mary of, we need to figure out a plan. There has to be a way in which both of us get what we need, and I can't figure it out, so you'd better do it. That's me, though. Whenever something goes awry, I'm just like, I don't know. Kun, come up with a plan. She's also scary. She seems unhinged. We get a bit of a face-off of, like, honor versus honor. Yeah, you're gonna have to try a lot harder than that. Oof. Careful, boy. But can we also talk? We already had the fight with like Hatz against Kun, and he didn't win that one. He did manage to get a strike in, but he didn't win. And I feel like even if Kun went up against one of the princesses, there'd be a struggle. Like he'd have to figure it out. So I don't love his odds, my guy. Are we going? Isn't like Lorray there? He's basically been like a prop this whole time. When was the last time we saw him do anything? Can't he help? We've already had a whole thing about weapons not being, the weapon itself isn't what matters so much as the person holding it. God forbid she has some like empathy, right? Yeah, she just has some connections, doesn't she? I'm like, between like traveling with Anak and being friends with Bam, I can understand why the other princesses are like, you're not one of us anymore. I think it's so interesting to have this right after we have basically like the face-off with Kun Shibisu, right? Like we have that kind of team up. And like I was saying, it feels like a Hail Mary of Shibisu being like, I can't figure it out, but there has to be a way because we don't want to fight each other, right? Like we don't want to be adversaries. There has to be a way in which we can all work together to get to the same ends. And it's like I was saying about how the tower worked a lot by separating people out so that they fight each other instead of fighting who they're supposed to be fighting with, like a united front. And I think that this is them being part of their way of rebelling against that has been the fact that they've teamed up together, right? So many of the second floor tests and things were to like separate them and have them go against each other, and instead they bonded together, they made teams, they continue to communicate and meet up with each other and help. And that is so against how the tower is supposed to work, right? So much of it is about intentionally making people have to go on this journey by themselves. So part of their kind of protest is the fact that they work together, the fact that they're friends, the fact that they actually care about each other and look out for each other. And I think that it's really nice to have Hatz here be like, maybe the destiny of like how the tower works says that we're supposed to fight each other, but that's not the point, right? We do fight, right? We do argue, we do disagree with each other because we're all from these different backgrounds and we all want like slightly different things, but we're friends and we're not going to fight each other because someone tells us we're supposed to, because this group has to be against that group. It's because we're having a disagreement and we're gonna have to figure out what our even ground is, right? Which is what Shibisu is doing. What's the plan? What are we doing? Because there has to be a way for us to work together. Nice. I like that. I'd rather fight destiny itself. And that's like the whole point, right? Like they're going against what they're supposed to be doing. Epic panel, by the way. Oh, is this Kaiser? Yeah, we've destroyed that one though. Oh, did we already explode it? Okay. So we don't have to worry about the escalator that was destroyed then. We need to get on the floaty island thing. Did we lock it though? There was some like spell thing that happened. Is that also part of why we destroyed it? Like we set off the bomb before it could be set off by us walking on the stairs? It's a lot of questions. There's a lot going on. Oh, hello? Did we figure it out? I am also questioning. Epic shot, though. Yeah, I was gonna say, we're behind, too, which is usually not a great spot if you want to keep your name, right? Yeah, how did he? Did we get help from Shibizu? Did he know about the bomb in the staircase? Escalator? Like, this is the wrong place? Did he send them to the right place? Because we already knew how to get to the gallery, and this wasn't the right way. So is that why he had the insider information? Shibizu, you sweetie pie. Epic entrance, by the way. Dramatic. Friends. That's how. The power of friendship. They had more time to prepare for this. We are standing here talking instead of just, like, taking the name. I would have gone for the sneak attack. No, you wouldn't, Khun. You're a liar. You would not just accept it. Good that we're self-aware, at least. Epic shot as well. And also turning around. Again, why did we sit here talking about we could have just gone for it? Sorry, just the fact that the sound effect is plop. Can't take it seriously, I'm sorry. Interesting. Time to ask for a favor. Are we gonna try and get Endorsi's name back? Hello? I feel like someone is going to be coming this way. Okay, so at least we know that we need to be somewhere else, right? For the hostages. They have a guide, so... are we on hostage rescue? Let's go. I love how chill they are about it. She's a guide. Her job is to know where stuff is. Or how to get there, at least. Yes, get my boy. Oh, wow, that's a mask. Yeah, who is that guy? Oh, you're the brother. JM. Sorry, just the names. Again, go from like the craziest things to it'll be like Paul. Are you also similar abilities? Or, okay, we got metal. I like the deduction there. I feel like that's going to be taken as a challenge. Yeah, no, I can get why fighting someone who's entirely metal would be difficult, but also heavy hitter. I need my boy Novik to get like a win. I know sometimes it's translated as Novik, and I'm like, I don't know which one it is because I'm assuming it's fairly wishy-washy with pronunciation. Yeah, there's a few people you gotta fight. I'm like, wow, got some anger management issues going on there, huh? Was that it? Were we done now? So anticlimactic. I'm just like, anyway, moving on. We just have people who know how to get around. We know people, but it's not a very good threat, but you know, your heart's in it, and that's what matters. Thank you for explaining the bubbles. I love the immediate. So we just need to be like, not caught by the bubbles then. Yeah, again, we got some heavy hitters with this particular group, which is why they're on hostage rescue. I'd like a good you fools. Points for drama, if nothing else. Aww, your name is Lulu? That's so cute. I like you. Can we keep them? So that's why you have the bubbles. You're cute. Okay, can we check on the one who's face down? I feel like Rock is cooking something up. The number of times this was made by the workshop, I'm like, ugh, they really do be causing issues for us. Do we have the key? You've explained it very well. Yeah, I was like, do we have the key already? I think you underestimate what they're capable of. Yeah, you just made it a fun challenge for her to being like, no one can find it. It's impossible. And she's like, what? Impossible? Interesting. It's like when you set up like a mind game for Khun. He's now I have to play the game. I have to prove that I'm the smartest one here. The moment that you're like, no one can find this room. She's now I gotta prove I can. Can't be locked from the inside. Ooh, that's such an interesting line. The god never gives the absolute ability to anyone after all. Like this idea of the only person who is like absolute in anything, if you're believing in a god, is the god itself, right? You can't give that ability to anyone underneath that rank, because then it's like a challenge on that power, right? It goes to the hierarchy that we're seeing within the tower of you can't give anyone else the same power that you have. And we're talking about like, it's impossible to get past this place. No one survives. No one can find this, right? There's all these absolutes happening throughout these last couple of chapters, only for this group to come in and say, is it though? Interesting to be like, reading people, right? The path forward is partly about knowing what other people are going to do, right? Understanding them. You're not going to tell us? I love how sweet he is. Like, he's always so polite when he's talking to other people. Like, even when he needs information, he's like, please give us the information that we would like to have. It would be very nice if you could cooperate. And even here, he's like, thank you. It's like, I am going to actively try to kill you in 3 seconds. Yay! Annoying redhead. I love all the, like, names and their contacts for each other. It's great. But we've saved Rock. Woo, my boy. I say that for everyone, but Rock's like my main boy. You just fully turned your back on the enemy. I get the excitement, but maybe be a little bit vigilant. Have never found. Ooh, they got a good team going on. Ooh, that's so scary. Like, he's being so cute in all these other panels, and then it's, I don't need to hold back. Oh, geez. Speaking of scary people. Yep. I don't think you know what you just agreed to. I really like that I went into this chapter, or these couple of chapters, being like, oh, there's so much going on. We've got like all these fights and standoffs going on. But I love that a bunch of it is just them like trusting each other. And I think that's what we got into with this, right? Where the kind of face off that we're seeing between like Bam, Khun, and Shibizu, right? Like that face off, thinking that they are going to have to fight each other or be against each other. There was so much of that going in this particular part of the story of they weren't able to all work together because of how everything had been set up. But then getting to Hatz's line where he's, yeah, we argue with each other, we disagree, we have different backgrounds and different things that we're trying to go after, right? We all have our own reasons for traveling in the tower, but we look out for each other, right? We're not going to fight each other because someone says we have to. We're not going to fight each other because I'm part of this group and they're part of that group, right? Like, we're found family, we're friends. That's like what this whole story is about. And me talking about how that's like the main form of protest for this whole group. It's not just about what they're doing. It's the fact that they see them as a collective, right? And Endorsi only joined this group because she saw the previous group of them all being friends together and went, wait, people could just care about each other and look out for each other? What do you mean? So I love that these couple of chapters really show that they are all united, not just in the fact that they're like looking out for each other or helping each other out or caring about each other, right? It's not just them being like in proximity. It's the trust that they have, right? Of this group is going to be going to do this, right? They're going to be getting the hostages. We trust them to get it done. This group is going to be getting that information, right? Shibisu having this piece of information about how to get to the gallery. And he's, I want to trust you to figure this out because I can't figure it out. So if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Khun. And I'm just going to leave it with you and hope that you figure it out because I don't know how we all end up with what we want out of this situation. So I just have to trust that you can figure it out, right? There's so much of this that it's just like them trusting each other to take care of stuff as they're all like off doing their own things. And it's all coming together because of that. So I think that's so interesting, right? Especially in the tower where, again, a lot of it is about like individualism of everyone is just looking out for themselves and betrayals and taking opportunities when they get it, right? Like part of the reason that all of the bosses, right, on this floor are falling apart is that they're not trusting each other. Kaiser was like, hey, don't go out and fight them. And then they did, right? Like them being like, oh, I'm going to like take this position from someone else. Like none of them trust each other to actually do what they need to be doing. And because of that, it's all falling apart. And I think that's so interesting. And I think probably is a pretty good indicator of what's going to be happening with like the families, right? Is because they also don't trust each other. They also don't work together. They're not like a united front either, because if they were, that would threaten like Jihad's power, right? That would threaten the people who are like in those positions above them. And I think that's also just like really interesting to see like how that might translate to further down the line in the story as like a bunch of these structures start to fall apart around our main group as they travel. Really interesting couple of chapters. I like that we ended on a high note, a little bit scary, because whenever bombs, I'm just going to unleash all of my power because I don't have anything holding me back now that we have our friends back. So that's going to be interesting. We didn't see it, which does give me like a little bit of pause. I'm sure that we figured it out. So it's nice to have a little bit of a high note before we get into this kind of standoff between Bam and Kaiser. But I hope you enjoyed reading that along with me. You can click this playlist to go into my previous reactions, or you can subscribe to this time I post a Tower of God reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.